All right. We have another trade, baby. This one's a little delayed, but the Clippers have actually made a move. The Clippers are trading Rajon Rondo. Let me make sure I get this right. Patrick Beverly, Daniel Oturu to the Grizzlies for Eric Bledsoe. Obviously, the Grizzlies didn't want Eric Bledsoe. They have no need for Eric Bledsoe. Really, what they wanted was that number 10 overall pick, and they took Zaire Williams. And so now Eric Bledsoe is going back to the Clippers where he used to be back in the day. And so it is not going to make the Clippers much better, to be honest. Like they're just not going to be a whole lot better. I think that what they're trying to do with this is get a guy who's better on defense who can still play make. Because Reggie Jackson is kind of a decent playmaker, but he can't defend. Patrick Beverly can defend, but he's not a very good playmaker at all. I do think that Eric Bledsoe is going to start. Really, all that it comes down to is who finishes the game. I think that part of the reason why Reggie Jackson had such a good playoffs was that Reggie Jackson could fill some of that offensive void that Kawhi Leonard left when he got injured. And so obviously Reggie Jackson got paid. They bring him back. And now they're bringing in Eric Bledsoe, who honestly I think is going to start. The problem with Eric Bledsoe has been his playoff performances. Eric Bledsoe has actually been pretty decent in the regular season for years. On the Pelicans, on the Bucks before that, but the Bucks got rid of Eric Bledsoe and replaced him with Drew Holiday, and they won a championship. Like that's how much of an upgrade Eric Bledsoe to Drew Holiday was, right? And so now Eric Bledsoe's playoff problems are the Clippers' problems. I don't know how much the Clippers are invested in this year's playoffs. Obviously, if you ask the Clippers, is it, championship or bust, they would say yes. But the truth is that Kawhi Leonard is going to be out for at least until the playoffs and maybe the whole year. I think that the bottom line with the Clippers is the next 3 years, because the next 3 years, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are under contract. So it's more of a 3-year play, but Eric Bledsoe is not under contract after this coming season. So not only are we going to say that this isn't going to make the Clippers that much better for this coming year, but after this year, he'll be off the books. So it really doesn't matter. This is the Grizzlies taking on a guy like Patrick Beverly. I know that they get Daniel Oturu, but the truth about him is he was a second round pick. Who knows if he'll turn into anything? He probably won't. But Rajon Rondo, Patrick Beverly, and Daniel Oturu for Eric Bledsoe. And this is a fine trade. This is not a trade that should, break the internet. Obviously, Clipper fans are going to be really excited about it because their team actually made a trade when it looked, they have no flexibility to make any other trades. There were rumors that the Clippers were going after DeMar DeRozan. That didn't work out, obviously, because the Bulls were willing to trade a good player in Thad Young and overpay DeMar DeRozan. And so this is the trade that the Clippers made. Not a huge deal. Retaining Reggie Jackson was a big deal for them. Re-signing Kawhi Leonard, obviously nothing gets bigger than that. But to me, this trade does not move the needle at all, because the bottom line with these NBA teams that are this good, the bottom line is the postseason. And Eric Bledsoe has failed in the postseason over and over again. He is a regular season player. He is not a postseason player. And after this year, his money's off their books anyway. He has a partially guaranteed contract for next year for about $3 million. And so, yeah, Eric Bledsoe is done with the Clippers after this year, unless he proves us all wrong and he balls out in the playoffs. But, Eric Bledsoe as a player, he's a pretty good inside scorer, not a very good outside scorer. He does not shoot the three ball well. He's a decent playmaker, but honestly, I think Reggie Jackson might be a better playmaker. But he is a really good defender as a guard. He can't guard 1 through 5 or anything. Almost no one can. But, this improves their defense, also gives them a little bit more playmaking, and he's a wild card in the postseason. Getting rid of Patrick Beverly, for all the crap he takes about how annoying Patrick Beverley can be, like, dude, the dude is not afraid of big playoff moments. That's what I really liked about Patrick Beverley. And now they're swapping a guard who's feisty, who, I mean, we can all remember like several playoff moments from Patrick Beverley, even from this year against the Suns, against the Jazz. And so they're letting Pat Bev go. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, Patrick Beverley is a guy who gets better in the postseason. He gets better as the moment gets bigger. Those guys are rare. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the Lakers Clippers game. Was it 1 year ago, 2 years ago, whatever? Do you remember Pat Bev blocking LeBron James right there at the end? A guy who's like a foot taller than him. And Pat Bev, of course, he did his Pat Beverley thing where he gets all pumped up and he gets, in the camera's face and he flexes. But they let that guy go. I don't know, man. To me, that seems like a bad move. You're taking on Eric Bledsoe, who has been really good in the past, but he has shown recently he just, where a guy like Patrick Beverley gets better as the moment gets bigger, Bledsoe gets worse as the moment gets bigger. And this team's all about big moments, man. The big moments are the only thing that counts for this team. And so, honestly, this is probably just a wash because I'm going to make one of you a mod because I can see some spamming going on. All right, here we go. Add moderator. Because after this year, Eric Bledsoe's not on this team. So, I mean, look, is Eric Bledsoe versus Patrick Beverley and Rajon Rondo, even though he doesn't matter, is that big of a difference? No, it's really not. So this deal doesn't matter. I hate to say that because that's like a cardinal rule of a YouTuber. I'm not supposed to say it doesn't matter. It's not that exciting, and that, on the internet, everything's supposed to be a big deal. Oh my gosh. It's not a huge deal. It's just not. They're about the same in terms of impact in the playoffs and the regular season. His money is off their books after this year. So next year we're going to remember and just be like, oh yeah, was Eric Bledsoe on this? Oh yeah, where did he go? Who cares? Doesn't really matter. But look, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that Eric Bledsoe returns to LA and balls out and contributes to a deep playoff run, and that Kawhi comes back and he's healthy from that partially torn ACL. But really, the whole point of the Clippers is the next 3 years. That's the point of the Clippers in this roster. The moves they make really are pertinent for the next 3 years because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are under contract for the next 3 years. After that, anything outside of that is whatever. And Eric Bledsoe is not a part of that 3-year picture. He's just not. His money is off their books after this year. So I think that it's going to be good to get another guard defender because you wouldn't want to lose that with Patrick Beverley going out the door. But you're going to get a guy who's pretty good scoring at the basket. He's a decent playmaker, not a great playmaker. And, he's not a good three-point shooter. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to say that. But this doesn't matter. If Reggie Jackson can be Reggie Jackson from the playoffs, that matters. Because that guy he looked like, the trajectory he was on, Reggie Jackson, when he was on the Thunder. He was on that, and then all of a sudden he just fell off, and we all forgot. Like when he's in Detroit, we're like, is Reggie Jackson still in the league? What happened to that guy? And then all of a sudden in these playoffs, he looked like the OKC trajectory again. So whatever, who cares? It's fine. What is Rondo going to look like on the Grizzlies? Is he going to be good Rondo or bad Rondo? Good Rondo is when he was with the Celtics, when he was with the Lakers, when he was with the Clippers to a certain degree. Bad Rondo is when he was with the Kings or the Mavericks or the Hawks. Bad Rondo can be mental or physical. With the Hawks, it was physical. With all those other teams I mentioned, it was mental. He didn't want to be there. He didn't like being on a crappy team, and his leadership style rubbed guys the wrong way. Now, the Grizzlies are kind of taking a gamble by taking Rondo in because obviously they have young, impressionable players. What is their coach's first name? Not Zach Taylor. It's Grizzlies coach, not Zach Taylor. Taylor Jenkins. That's it. Taylor Jenkins is a young coach, And so could he hurt that locker room, Rondo? Yes, he could. He has hurt locker rooms in the past. He has rubbed coaches the wrong way in the past with Rick Carlisle in Dallas. So it's kind of a gamble both sides for the Grizzlies and for the Clippers, you know? But ultimately, for either team, it doesn't move the needle very much. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't. All right, do you guys have anything going on in terms of questions or comments? Let's have a little interaction here. That is my basic reaction to the trade, is that it's really not a big deal. What does the chat have to say? What do you guys think? It matters to me. Tim, you know this doesn't matter, Tim, please tell me why it matters, because I know that you have thoughts on this, and I'm going to be reading the chat here. All right, wait. The Clips give up Rondo for Beverly and Bledsoe. Laughing my ass off. Seriously. Oh my God. As a Lakers fan, I can say thank you, Flippers. But Mark, why does it matter? Who cares? Rondo, he didn't do anything for the Clippers. And Pat Bev's best attribute was defense, and Bledsoe brings defense. I mean, it doesn't matter. So Rondo was the perfect point guard. It got traded. Let's see. What else? Did Tim say anything? He probably has not yet. Nope. All right. Does this help the Grizzlies? Not really, not in a big way. I mean, no. Any chance Rondo and Pat Bev get bought out? Yes, I think so. I just had to look at their contracts, and I'll tell you right now that the Patrick Beverly contract actually is for the next 2 years. So the Grizzlies are taking salary on. They are taking on his $14 million contract this year and next year. For Rondo, he has a $8.5 million contract and then a $7.5 million contract. So that's actually kind of surprising, because no, I don't think they will get bought out, because they've got money on the books for this year and next year. And the Grizzlies traded that for a guy on an expiring contract. This is weird to me. Why are the Grizzlies taking on this extra cash? The Grizzlies must think that they can flip these guys, Rondo and Beverly, for something else, or they think that they can help, the veterans can help their young team. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. Or maybe there's something awkward going on with Bledsoe in the locker room behind the scenes. That's just weird to me, dude. This is a weird trade from a Grizzlies standpoint. Oturu is the only non-expiring that Memphis received. No, see, Aaron. Oh, I see. You're right, Aaron. I was looking for this year and next year. My bad. Erase all that. Aaron was correct. Hey, Aaron. I debated Aaron. He's actually a Nets fan. No, you're right, Aaron. I was looking. Sorry, this contract chart has not updated to next year. So yeah, okay. Everyone's on an expiring contract, so this does make more sense to me. All right. Has Tim said anything about this trade? No, he has not. Oh, there he is. Yep, utter tragedy of epic proportions. All right, whatever. Bledsoe will be good next season. Maybe he will. I hope that he is, because when he was good, he was one of the more interesting, fun to watch players in the league. When he was with the Suns had 3 guards. I think it was Isaiah Thomas, Eric Bledsoe, and the third one was, I can't remember, Goran Dragic. That was it. And they didn't know who to keep, because they had 3 really good young guards, and Bledsoe was one of them, dude. He was great. So if he can return to that form, then yeah, dude, this is a great trade for the Clippers. But I just have doubts, because that's not what we saw with the Grizzlies. So, the Bucks. But the thing about Bledsoe is that he was on some bad teams before. He was never put into that high pressure spotlight situation, you know? And so once he got in that high pressure spotlight with the Bucks, he failed. So why would I feel confident about Eric Bledsoe? Aaron also says Grizzlies took on salary this year. Clippers have a bit of dead cap next year unless they guarantee all of Bledsoe's money. Yes, true. Nate Murphy says Clippers need a Jamal Crawford type of guy who can bring instant offense. He dropped 51 in the Pro-Am a month ago. Yeah, I don't see him dropping 51 in the NBA at his age. Is the Nets Lakers finals pretty much guaranteed? I would think so, Daniel, because because that's what it looks like. But the thing about that, Daniel, is Nets Lakers finals. We've all been wrong about who was going to be in the finals, I think, the last 2 years. And this is different. Honestly, to me, this feels different, Daniel, than the Cavaliers Warriors, where we all knew who was going to be in the finals every year. This doesn't feel that airtight. Lakers Nets. Lakers Nets doesn't feel as airtight as Cavaliers Warriors did. We all think it's going to be Lakers Nets in the finals, but I wouldn't put money on it, right? I think that there are so many teams who have improved. The Miami Heat, obviously, we can't count out the Milwaukee Bucks, who are defending champs. In the East, if the Sixers can get their act together, depending on what they get back for Ben. So I think that there's a lot up in the air here. Justice Winslow for most improved. Wow, that would be quite a long shot. Y'all basically just traded Lou Will, which was dumb. I agree. Pat Bev and Oturu for Eric Bledsoe. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Not your average YouTuber. No, I totally agree. The Lou Williams deal was dumb. Lou Will went to Atlanta and he won them a playoff game. That's how good he was. He was instant offense, obviously. Just like Nathaniel was saying about they need a Jamal Crawford type who could drop 51. Yeah, that reminds me of Lou Williams. Let's see. How many teams has Rondo been with now? That's a great question, dude. So many. So, yeah, the earlier question about will Rondo and Pat Bev be bought out? Yeah, they actually could be bought out because they are on expiring contracts. All Memphis moves feel like Ja also going to get frustrated. Maybe. I think Jaren Jackson Jr.'s health has a lot to do with that, because if Jaren Jackson can, I think he's been pretty injured the last 2 years. So, it's not a apples to apples comparison, but if you think of Luka, where they thought, oh, we've got another star next to Luka in the front court with Kristaps Porzingis, but then injury has totally derailed that. And so now we're not sure about Luka's mindset in the long term. It's similar with Ja having that other star next to him in Jaren Jackson Jr., who has all-star potential, right? But injuries have derailed that. So this is no fault of the Grizzlies. If you're saying Ja's, Grizzlies moves look like Ja's going to get frustrated, dude, I think the Grizzlies have been one of the best front offices the last 5 years. Their young executive, I think his name is Zach Kleiman. I'm going to look that up because he deserves his praise. Is it Zach Kleiman? I don't know. Whatever. Let's see. This is great content, me looking this up right now, right? Nope, I can't find it. And that's fine. But anyway, dude, they've been great, dude. The Grizzlies have been great. I think that Ja is in a better situation than Luka in terms of a teammates standpoint and a front office stability standpoint. I think that Luka has, a lot more talent than Ja, and that Luka can win a playoff series on his own. But Ja Morant has better teammates, a better system, a better coach, all that stuff. So anyway, that's about it. That's about it for me. That's my reaction. So yeah, Kleiman. That's right, David. You got it. Okay, guys. This was not really a big deal. I think tomorrow's video is going to be one of the videos that I've been looking forward to dropping in a long time. Like tomorrow's video, I'm really, really excited about, more than I've been in a long time. So that's all I'm going to say. All right, guys. Peace.